Late Night Chaos. Zone out.
Yo, what up? You already know what it is, your man Chaos on the MIC. It's the Late Night Chaos Show.
Late Night Chaos.
I got a special guest in the building, a young legend in the making, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that'll whoop your ass and steal your girl out here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Paul Marghitas, what up, dog?
what's going on?
How are you?
I'm good.
So, your big bro Dre, he was like, yo, man, you gotta get my bro in here. He's about to whoop the whole world's ass, you know what I'm saying? He gonna do it on TV. You gonna see him shining out here. I've always been a fan of the fight world. I've never been like a huge sports guy, but I've always paid attention. And who doesn't like fighting and shit?
Right.
How long have you been interested? It looks like you started wrestling, right? Like, how did this journey start for you as far as like combat sports or MMA or?
I first started I started doing jiu-jitsu when I was 8 years old. I forgot who it was. I think it was either my brother or my dad that came up with the idea. They were they just wanted to get me into something, and my
Some
mom
like
came
formal
in.
training type thing.
I think just anything in general, some type of hobby. Because my mom came in, my mom wanted me to do dance, and then my dad came in, and my dad used to do my dad used to do karate, like, or some type of taekwondo back in Romania. So then he wanted me to try something out like that, and then that's when Dre came with the idea of, hey, there's a sport called jiu-jitsu. I think you should really try this, and that's the one that we went with. And man, I was extremely nervous when I first tried it out. Like, I remember we're looking into it, and I used to be a very shy kid. I used to like kind of keep to my own. So the fact that like I would have to start like fighting people and be physical with people, like that was super scary. And I remember like one of the first things that we looked at was like a promo, and it was just a bunch of kids doing push-ups and shit. And I was like, I could do like 7 push-ups. So I was like, this is not for me. I don't know if this is something that I'm gonna like, but I ended up fucking with it heavy.
That's dope. And then it looks like did you wrestle? Maybe in high school?
Yeah,
or?
so I started with jiu-jitsu when I was 8, and then I really started fucking with that, and then we started looking into other things. And when I was 9 years old, I started kickboxing. And at that point, I was like, yo, this is super dope. And I told my brother I really like it, and we came with the thing like, hey, you know what I mean, do you want to do this professionally? And we started talking about it, and he explained to me like, this is something that you could really do if you really want to, but if you're gonna do it, then it's got to be a different situation. It can't be something to where you're going in and you're fucking around and having fun with your friends. Like, you got to go in there and you got to really get better each and every day. And if this is something that you love, then you could really do. So then, we kind of agreed on that. We kind of came up with like this little blueprint of like, you got to train every single day. You can't drink, you can't smoke, you got to stay focused. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it, because it was something that I was really messing with. So then I started doing kickboxing when I was 9. And then I got into wrestling a little bit at my gym, but the wrestling program wasn't too big. So then I started wrestling in 7th grade, and I wrestled through middle school and then high school.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like? Like, were you whooping the other kids' ass because you was already like in training, and then when you started wrestling in junior high and high school, you already was like a badass, or what?
It was actually the complete opposite.
Really?
Well, I wasn't getting fucked up, and I was still able to out wrestle mostly all the kids. Like 7th grade, I was like district champion, like little things like that. But like, coming from a jiu-jitsu background, you're used to being on your back, you're used to working submissions. In wrestling, you're on your back, that's it. You get 3 seconds, you get pinned, and that's match. So when I first started wrestling, it was so like it was difficult getting shot on like with the takedown and then not going to my back and trying to pull guard or work submissions or stuff like that. So it was something that I had to get used to at first, but it also helped me a lot because I had a different like unique stance. Instead, it wasn't like a traditional wrestling stance. I was a lot more like, I want to say loose, a lot more awkward for sure, and that threw off a lot of kids for sure. And I was able to use that and kind of beat a lot of kids in different areas because of that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
So they sat you down at 9 years old and was like, all right, look, you finna do it for the fam. We finna train you every day and every
for
night.
sure.
That's dope.
That we agreed
That's
on.
early to make a decision like that you wanna, that you know that's something that you wanna do. That's dope though.
It was
That's what it takes.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
a lifetime of training.
At first, it was like I didn't get it at all, dude. I hated it so much, and then after a while, I just kept going, kept showing up, and kept getting it better, and kept getting better. And then I was like, it was cool. Like my first ever jiu-jitsu tournament that I did, I was 8, I was 9 maybe, and I got submitted off the bat. I had no chance. The kid fucked me up completely, and I went home and I was sad. And instead of being like, man, I'm not gonna do this, I was like, yo, let me get back in the gym. Let me get better. Let me try to win the next tournament, and stuff like that. So I definitely took like a different approach towards it, to where I was like attracted to it, to where I was like, I wanted to get better. I wanted to like keep exploring. You know what I mean, and get better with that.
That's dope. I'm glad you bring that up. I feel like learning how to lose is something that that people don't spend enough time doing, or they don't fail enough, and then it gets awkward, it gets uncomfortable, and then you get scared to fail like at a certain age. So like getting your ass whooped is necessary.
Yeah, I talk about that a lot when people want to get into like MMA and stuff like that. Is that you're gonna lose, you're gonna get tapped out, you're gonna get submitted a bunch, and
The shit hurts, fam.
yeah,
Tell him like,
yeah,
look,
it
bro, this
hurts like
shit.
a motherfucker, dude. But you know that's something that's important. That's something that's necessary. You know what I mean, you're not gonna win every time. You're gonna go in there, you're gonna lose, but in that failure, you're gonna grow so much more than if you're winning. You know what I mean? So that's something that I for sure like had to get used to. I had to get used to losing, and eventually like I learned like, hey, this is what's necessary. This is part of the plan, and this is supposed to happen.
For
Yeah.
sure. Jiu-jitsu is pretty popular these days. I feel like I know Joe Rogan always talks about it. And he's a black belt, and he always, I don't know if he's the one convincing everybody to do it or if it's just popular in general, but I know like all the comedians around him do it now, and just all kinds of, honestly, just random professionals that come on his show, like doctors, Reese. They're like, oh yeah, I do jiu-jitsu, and so it's like I feel like it's a popular way for people to just either like train or stay physical, because obviously these people aren't like like fighting, like training
Right.
to like compete or anything. They're just kind of doing it to like stay in shape and maybe learn how to whoop ass. I don't know. Like,
No,
do you
recently,
think, is it popular, or has it
yeah,
been a surge lately, or?
for sure. Recently, it's grown. Like it's been huge recently because like if you go inside of a jiu-jitsu gym or in any type of gym and they have a jiu-jitsu class, you start meeting people and they all come from a bunch of different backgrounds. This person's a dentist, this person's a police officer, and it's like it's dope to see the sport grow into so many different areas, and so many different people are like, yo, I'm interested in this. So it started with like Hoist Gracie and stuff. You mean them coming into the UFC in the beginning, and like really showing like, hey, this sport is dope as hell. And then over time in the UFC and stuff, people were throwing up submissions and shit, and it's just grown from there. And it's dope, dude, because I love the sport. I love the sport so much. It's helped me so much with like being confident. You know what I mean? I used to be scared to like talk to people, but it's a lot easier to talk to people when you're going and train with people and you're choking random people out, and then you mean it's a lot easier to say hello. So it's dope seeing the sport grow because it's helped me so much, and I'm sure it's gonna help so many more people with confidence with anything like that. And it's for sure growing, and it's dope.
Hell yeah. And then the UFC too, like, has grown too, like the last couple of decades, just turned into like a huge thing, like mainstream athletics, you know what I'm saying? Like, because when they first started UFC, it was like a little hole in the wall, wasn't even on TV type shit, but now it's like full-fledged. They got reality shows, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how
Yeah.
you know you made it.
Yeah, I think they almost went bankrupt at the beginning, but um it's for sure grown, and it's crazy because it's so new. Like I think it's only like the UFC is only like 28 years old or something.
Yeah,
But it's so dope because it's everyone's attracted to it because it's worldwide. It's like, okay, the like for example, you mean if you're from Brazil and you got a fighter from Brazil and they're fighting, you mean it's like soccer is an international sport and
for
everyone
sure.
loves it because it's like their home country and they're backing it up. But to me, I think it's different because now you're sending in a fighter from your country.
That's that blood sport.
Right.
That's like send your best.
Exactly. This is your best, and now they're competing against Brazil's competing against America. And you mean Germany's competing against Romania or something like that. You mean just different countries. So those countries back each other up, and I think that's what helped grow the sport so much is because you're sending different fighters from different countries. Do you want to back up that fighter? So yeah.
That's dope. So are you technically like just like an independent fighter, like training on your own and then just like waiting or like doing fights and waiting to like get a big shot? Or how do you transition from like deciding like, yo, I want to fight and train and then to like go into the UFC? Like, what is that like?
It First things first, you got to find a good gym. You know what I mean? I train at the MMA Lab, which is one of the greatest gyms in the world. You know what I mean? We got fighters like our biggest fighter is Benson Henderson. If you don't know who that is, he was a UFC champion. He defended his belt 3 times. He's tied for most title defenses in that lightweight division, and he's absolutely insane. I mean,
I seen you got pictures with him all the way back to when you were a kid.
yeah, dude. I grew up. He was my role model growing up. You know what I mean? And that was crazy training at the same gym as him because like my practice was before his training. So right before I would train, I would watch him train, and it's the craziest thing, dude. Like seeing him and wanting to be like at his level, it's so inspiring. It's like if you're trying to go into NBA, you mean you go to your team practice. Well, right before your team practice, you got the Lakers squad and Kobe Bryant's on the court shooting fadeaways on everyone. It's like I would go in a gym and I would see Ben do these incredible things and have this crazy work ethic, and I'm like, there's no way I'm not about to fucking submit everyone in this class. Like I'm ready to go. Let's get this started type thing.
I would imagine that hype you up. Like when people go to the movies, like they see the new Fast and Furious, they go home, they start speeding home,
Yeah.
driving. It's like you just watch your favorite fighter train, and now you're like, all right, now it's my turn. I'm about to get out here, about to whoop this ass.
For sure. So that's the first thing that you got to do is find a good gym, and then after that you just start amateur. You know what I mean? You got to go into amateur, start local events, stuff like that, and you start getting wins.
Is there like a league, or do you just like sign up at like events that happen, or?
You just sign up at like random events. The first things first, you should probably start with like jiu-jitsu tournaments, or if you wrestled in high school, or if you are in high school, then join your wrestling team, do wrestling tournaments, kickboxing tournaments, Muay Thai tournaments, stuff like that. And then you start getting into like amateur fights, and you got to get cleared by like a doctor and stuff. But once all that is in there, then you have your amateur fights and you start fighting and you start racking up wins. You mean, hey, I'm good enough to go professional. Now you're getting paid, not the most money, but you mean at least
it's a start. Yeah,
it's a start, and now you're getting paid, and you mean you just keep winning, and then that's when there's different organizations like One Championship, Bellator, UFC that are like, hey, I want to sign this guy. This guy seems really promising. I want to get him on here. And if you want to get in like the UFC specifically, there's like different like they have the Ultimate Fighter and stuff like that. They have the Contender Series, you know what I mean? Or they had like Dana White looking for a fight for like a little bit. I'm not sure if they're still doing that because of COVID and all that stuff, but
yeah,
they had that going on. So basically, if you want to get in like the UFC or something like that, you just got to keep winning and keep training, keep winning, and you'll
just
get
getting noticed. Yeah, just win enough.
If you get finishes too, that definitely helps. You know what I mean? If you get unanimous decisions and stuff, that would get the job done for sure. But if you knock someone out, like one of the people that train at the lab, Sean O'Malley, he went on the Contender Series and knocked dude the fuck out. And instantly Dana White was like,
come on, bring him
up. You got
the
contract. You got the contract for sure. So stuff like that.
That's dope. And you'd fight obviously anywhere, right? Like Bellator. I hear a lot about Bellator now.
Yeah, Bellator is getting bigger. Like I feel like it doesn't get as much respect as it should, because if you watch one Bellator card, it's like all these guys are at such a high level and it's such a high pace. Like there's never a boring fight going on in Bellator. Same with one championships and all that stuff. It's cool seeing like different leagues. Like people talk about the UFC, but it's cool seeing like all these other organizations. PFL is getting really big. PFL just signed Anthony Pettis and Rory McDonald, I believe. So it's like, is you know what I mean? It's cool seeing all these other organizations, and that helps the sport grow on its own.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm sure there'll be a whole handful of organizations like the UFC thriving like the UFC soon enough. I don't know, like it's just all marketing, probably marketing budget. They just got to bump down a bunch of money behind it to
Yeah.
start looking bigger and better, and just have I don't know much about sports and TV, but I'm sure they gotta just get on like a channel or a nice network deal. You know what I'm saying? Like there's probably back end shit that needs to happen for them to blow up, but I can see that happening definitely. Cause fighting ain't ever gonna what is that, like the first fucking sport we ever had? Like there's all right, y'all two motherfuckers fight.
Yeah,
we're just gonna kill you, like because we want to be
sure.
entertained. Gladiator shit. So people are never not gonna want to watch you beat the shit out of each other.
Right, it's gonna be around forever just because I think it was Joe Rogan that talked about it. But you go to like a basketball game or like a football game, it's like the sport is dope, but then a break or a fight breaks out in the crowd,
and everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, so it's gonna continue to grow for sure.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah, that. Are you scared at all of what might happen in the ring? Because obviously, anything can happen.
It's honestly, I would say I'm more nervous before the match. I'm not really thinking about it because I have all the confidence in the world when I'm inside of like on the mat. But before the match, and for sure, you start thinking about things like, no matter how confident you are, no matter how hard you train, you always got that little voice in the back of the head that's like, damn, what if you take a bad shot? What if you go for a submission and it fucks your whole thing up? You know what I mean? But not really when I'm on the mat. Once I'm on the mat, I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking about, I'm here, you're right there. It's time for me to fuck you up. You know what I mean? That's all that's going through my head in that.
Yeah, you can't really have any kind of second thoughts or think anything twice. You just gotta be ready, and like you said, like it's me or you, and it ain't gonna be you.
Exactly. For sure.
That's dope, man. I'm excited to see what happens next. Yeah, fighters, that's a whole nother like world of like not only training, but you got to have the balls, you know what I'm saying, the dedication, like to get in there and put your health on the line, or because like we said earlier, that shit hurts.
Yeah.
Like, was there a point in time in the beginning where you would like flinch and then you just kind of stopped over time to where it's like no flinch city, like what's up?
Yeah, for sure. You start building up on it. That's a big thing on like when you're doing kickboxing or something, you get punched, you go into like
just
like you start closing your eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got to learn how to keep your eyes open. You got to learn how to not flinch. You know what I mean? Because if you get hit and you close your eyes, you don't know where the jab hits you. You don't know where that cross is going, or you don't know where that hook is going, or the kick or something. You know what I mean? So you definitely have to start building it up, and you get a lot more comfortable being in those uncomfortable positions. You know what I mean? Over time, that's probably like the hardest thing too, is just being consistent, being disciplined. You know what I mean? In order to not flinch anymore, you got to keep coming. But that's probably like for sure the hardest part of the sport, just because there's so much injury that goes on, and it's hard. It's fighting, you know what I mean? But like for example, on Thursday, you know what I mean, I had sparring and I threw a bunch of leg kicks and I threw a bunch of calf kicks, like way more than I normally would. And because of that reason, people started checking that. So what a check is, when you throw a leg kick, you're going for that thigh. So then people will pick up their shin, and then,
ooh,
yeah, so it's shin on shin. And it hurts me blocking it, but it hurts you way more. I don't know if you ever seen like Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva, or Chris Weidman against Uriah Hall, but it could be really bad. You know what I mean? It could fuck you up for sure. But I kept throwing them kicks and I fucked my foot up. And then on Friday, I was planning on doing cardio. I did not do cardio on Friday, but it's hard to stay disciplined and work around injuries and stuff like that to stay consistent, to get better. And you kind of just have to figure your way around it, because, you know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm not going to do cardio today. Instead, I got to do jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? Because then it's a little softer on your feet. So you know what I mean, overall you stop flinching and stuff, but it's really hard to get there.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, just you said it earlier, it's about getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So much of life is about getting comfortable being uncomfortable, man. Like in so many categories, but especially something like fighting, I would imagine, or any sport really, like, but especially fighting. Because there's sports and then there's fighting. Like, let's be real. Like, I know everybody talks shit about like cheerleaders or something, like, oh, that's not a sport, but no, there's like regular sports like football, basketball, and then there's like fighting. Like, it's different. Like, I know people be talking shit, and I don't care, but it's different, bro. It's elevated. Like, you're in there to like hurt each other on purpose. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not just like getting a hard tackle every now and then or coming down after like a fucking dunk wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, we're here to fucking try to kill each other, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Respect to other sports, because you mean other sports are extremely hard, but you mean you play other sports. You don't play fighting. It's a whole different.
Yeah, you're not playing. Yeah. It's not a game. Like,
yeah, it could be really painful. So it's a whole different category of its own.
Yeah, man. The dedication, the balls, just everything. Like how like I'm sure so like your diet obviously revolves around fighting, right? Like what you eat and everything too.
Yeah, especially when you're cutting weight. For sure, that's a super big part of it. And even when you're not cutting weight, you mean you got to eat as healthy as possible and as lean as possible, because if I go eat a fucking pizza right now, I'm going to go tomorrow's training and I'm going to feel awful. I'm going to be slower. I'm going to be weaker. And so diet is for sure a big part. And then the cutting weight part, man, that's hard. Like for my wrestling season, that was a big part of my wrestling season, because I walk around at like 168. And I cut down to 145, and I wasn't even thinking about wrestling anymore. I'm just like, fuck, dude, I gotta diet, I gotta eat this, I gotta eat that, I gotta monitor my calories. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. Were you born before or after your family came over here from Romania?
So I was born after I was conceived, or my mom was pregnant with me for 6 months, and then we moved here.
Over here.
Yeah. So my It's crazy, dude. My mom came from a village in Romania, and my dad came from like a 1-bedroom apartment in the city of Cluj. It's the same with my brother. My brother had the same experience. It's crazy, because I lived a completely different lifestyle, and that's actually one of the things that like really motivates me in fighting, is because my parents are the hardest workers I know. So the fact that they came from a whole different country, a whole different background, that motivates me. You mean when my leg does hurt, my knee is sore, that gets me out of bed, and I'm like, bro, you have so many opportunities. You're presented with all these opportunities. You better get your ass out of bed and get to the gym. So yeah, but I was born here.
Dope. NAZ.
Yeah. I live in Phoenix my whole life.
Hell yeah. About to put on for the city, huh? Woo!
Man, ooh, I'm a diehard Lakers fan, bro.
What the hell are you doing?
I've been battling this, bro. I really didn't want them playing the first round. I'm out here fucking.
It's dope though for the city, because we're not usually in that position. You know what I'm saying? The Suns.
That's what I was thinking about. If the Suns could go to the finals and win the championship,
did you just pick the Lakers just cause he was like?
I picked the Lakers because of Kobe Bryant. Dude.
Kobe, yeah.
Kobe was one of my role models growing up, and even now, like, whenever I do need extra motivation, I'll tap in and listen to Kobe Bryant talk about wake up every day to get better today than you were yesterday, and I just hear shit like that, and I'm like, you know what I mean, that motivates me. So I grew up a huge Kobe Bryant fan, and that made me a Lakers fan. So. I've been struggling with this whole fucking Suns and Lakers thing, bro.
Yo, man, so people might have seen the picture on the flyer. I saw a few different pictures, but yo ass be doing the splits, like elevated. Because doing the splits on the ground is one thing, but you're elevated, like either on chairs or on trunks or on motherfucking something. Yo, man, how long did it take to get that? I mean, you was doing this since young, so were you already doing the splits kind of young? Or did it take a while to still, like, be able to...
I wouldn't say it took a while. I wasn't doing it when I was young. I started doing it because my brother was like, hey, a part of fighting is you got to be flexible. So we started working on doing the splits.
He watched the Karate Kid and was like, all right, bro. See, he would watch the Karate Kid and he would come train you. Like, all right, look, this is what we're going to do, kid.
Exactly, bro. He was my master Miyagi for sure. But it's actually kind of fucked up. I was trying to get there, and the first time I ever did the splits, I was trying to get there, and I was like this far off the ground.
Uh-oh.
And my brother comes up behind me and just stretches that out and pushes me down. And ever since then, I've been able to do the splits. But I can't remember the elevated splits. We first did it on splits on like 2 chairs, and I'm pretty sure it was because of the movie Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That's such a great movie. So very inspiring, I'm sure, for fighters too.
Oh, for sure.
Like you watch that shit right before a big day or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Before a tournament, the night before, I'll click onto that. I'll listen to a bunch of different motivational videos, and then I'll watch like Creed or I'll watch Bloodsport and shit like that.
You just get hyped up.
For sure. Hell
like
yeah.
Rocky or something. Old
school.
school.
But the first time we did that, we watched Bloodsport, and me and my brother both looked at each other and we were like, we know what we gotta do.
Bet.
We gotta go in the kitchen right now and grab these chairs. And we went and grabbed the chairs, and that took a little bit longer to do, but eventually I was able to do it. And that's been kind of like I don't want to say signature thing, but you know what I mean, whenever I'm like doing
something
like
you're proud of. Yeah,
for sure. You know what I mean? Like if I'm doing like a photo shoot or something, I'm like, yo, I got this thing that I could do. You know what I mean? Watching shit, this would be dope.
Yeah, I got a party trick if you want me to grab 2 chairs or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's where I learned how to do the splits, and that's where I learned how to do that elevated splits.
So I'm still trying to figure out why you beat the shit out of a banana tree with your fucking hands and feet, fam.
Man. So
did that shit hurt, or were you just trying to strengthen your shins and fucking arms, or were you just
a little bit of both? So people in Thailand will cut down trees with their legs, like banana trees with their legs.
I've seen videos and I was like, this is what that reminds me of.
Yeah, so that's where I got the inspiration from. My best friend Daniel in his backyard.
Shit hurts.
It's soft, but it's like after like 4 or 5 kicks, you know what I mean?
It's tender.
Yeah, a little bit. But my best friend Daniel had a banana tree in his backyard, and I started like fucking with it like a little bit, like kicking it and shit. He was like, do you want to just kick it down? I was like, hell yeah, I want to kick it down. We got a video of it and everything, and I was just kicking that shit. It was cool. I did it as like kind of like a fun thing, as a joke, but at the same time, that's something that I've always wanted to do. One thing that I want to do is go to Thailand and train and train in Muay Thai and stuff over there, but we don't really got banana trees over here in Arizona. So fact that there's a banana tree and I was able to kick it down, that was for sure fun for me, and that was something that I really wanted to do. That I wanted to do my whole life, honestly.
Yeah, that was dope. I was like, yeah, I'm sure that's one of those things that, yo, I see shit like that in other countries, and I'm like, yo, these guys are animals. Like, they're machines. Like, whether it's those dudes kicking down fucking banana trees, or it's those other dudes that just, for some reason, swing a brick into their nuts over and over again. Like, there's so much hardcore shit that goes on in other countries. Like, people are built different, yo.
It's fucking wild.
We are soft as shit here, man.
I saw someone kick like a regular tree down. Like a banana tree is like softer, you know what I mean, on the inside. This motherfucker was kicking wood.
Like a fucking 50-year-old oak. Like, let me get this out of my yard.
Yeah, on some crazy shit like that. I don't know if I'm willing to try that, though, but with the banana tree, for sure.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I was watching these videos for like a month straight. I was watching these videos. I don't know if you've seen them, but it's like 1 or 2 these dudes, and they have pretty much just like a machete, and they cut stuff down with it, and they dig with it, and they do all kinds of, it's like one kind of machete looking thing that they do everything with, and they dig with it, and then they dig out like these like fucking luxury like house looking things, and they got little pools and fires. Yo, I spent like a month watching those guys. Those guys are savages. Like, that's another level of human, bro.
I was tired so many times at school because I stayed up until like 4 a.m. just watching these motherfuckers build luxury hotels under the ground and all that crazy shit. You ever seen someone kick a bat? Like a baseball bat?
No, I don't think so.
You never seen that?
Like kick it in half or some shit?
Bro, one person on the bottom holds a bat, and one person on top is holding the top of it. And these people that do Muay Thai will kick the bat and split it in half on some crazy shit. It's like their shins are so conditioned and their legs are so conditioned that they're just able to split right through it. I think there was one episode on
Conditions. No. Well, I'm working on my corny dad jokes. You told me to practice. My bad, fam, to interrupt you.
You're good.
He had them old conditions, you know what I'm saying? My bad, bro.
No, you're good. I didn't get it at first. I was like, condition, and I was like, damn. That's what made me laugh.
Oh shit. Yo, man, I had a serious question for you. So, your big bro came on here and he spilled the beans, so we're allowed to talk about it. You know, I got the exclusive. When he called you after he got the gun pulled on him in the driveway, man, how did you feel? Because that's a crazy experience, you know what I'm saying, for something to happen to the family and shit. I'm sure you were immediately just ready to go, especially being a fighter, you know what I mean?
Bro, my heart sunk because when I got the message, or when I got the phone call and I got the message, I didn't see it at first. And I saw the message and 3 minutes has passed by. And I was just chilling there like, no fucking way. What just happened? What just happened? And yeah, it was one of the most intense moments of my life because I had no idea what had happened. I instantly got up, ran, woke my dad up. We both got in the car and we went there instantly and we showed up and no one was there. And it was such a confusing thing. And then eventually my brother called me and was like, hey, like, I'm good. I'm over here at some spot. I think it was at like a McDonald's talking to like
them or whatever.
Yeah. Because he went and followed them and then eventually they told him to, ease off on them. So then he stopped and was talking to a police officer. But it still makes me nervous, bro. Like, it was one of the most insane situations in my life. But he talked about it on the podcast, and I told him for sure, like, although it's super fucked up and the situation was awful, like, I'm really glad it happened to him because he handled that situation so well. And
for sure.
It was man. It was just a whole clusterfuck.
He said on the show that for a second he thought it might have been like you and your friends playing. Would your friends do that to him?
Hell no. When he told me that, I was like, that's the craziest idea. I don't know, bro. If any of my friends did that shit, I'd smack the hell out of them. Definitely not. But I mean, when your mind's racing, you got adrenaline, you start thinking of like,
maybe he was just hoping it was your friends.
Maybe, dude, but hell no, my friends are not dumb like that. Especially not with Dre, because that's you're not gonna have a fun time doing that type of prank. You know what I mean?
That's not gonna end up well.
Nah.
Oh shit, that's awesome, man. Well, can we expect anything? You got anything coming up? Should we just stay tuned?
I would just say stay tuned, man. I'm really trying to fight before the year ends. I'm aiming towards like October or something, but honestly, I'm just now getting back in shape because of quarantine and stuff. Well, during quarantine, I was working out and I was honestly in the best shape of my life. When everything was locked down and everyone was miserable, I was really
you had
thinking,
time to.
I was thinking like, damn, now's my time. Like, everyone is down. I'm about to get a boost and get in front of everyone.
That's the perfect mindset.
And everything was closed, so I had to instead I was just doing like push-ups and sit-ups at home, but I would go to the park and I would run in 113-degree weathers at 6:20 p.m. when the sun was going down. And I have a soccer field there. I would run there and back is 120 yards. If you run there and back 7 times, that's 1 mile. It's 1,700 yards or roughly a mile. And I would do that and I would work on my conditioning. Okay, today I ran 4 miles. I would do pull-ups on the goalpost for my back, for my arms. I would do leg lifts and shit like that. And then I got back in the gym once everything opened up, and I was feeling amazing. I was in such good shape. I was training the most I ever had of my entire life. And then COVID starts spiking back up. And nothing closed down this time, but my parents working like a healthcare environment, you know what I mean? And they work with senior citizens. And because of that reason, I had to stop training.
Yeah.
Up until March. So from December to March, I was back into
Cheetos.
Not Cheetos. I wasn't eating Cheetos. It was more of like, it's different when you're training at one of the best gyms in the world, 8 hours, 6 hours a day, compared to doing push-ups on your bed. And,
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean, with your legs up on your bed and doing stuff like that. So I came back and you know what I mean, I was getting back in shape, and that was super frustrating because like it was the first time I started weightlifting as well too. And I was like starting to get to like 200 on bench. Now I've never done that in my life. I was having so much fun because I was seeing everything progress slowly. I came back. I tried doing bench again. I hit 165 4 times, and I was like, I'm gonna die. I had a spotter, and he held me up and everything. So I had to build back up and kind of get back in shape. And I'm finally like just now coming back to where I was and where I left off. And I'm just excited to like, you know what I mean, to keep training and keep working. So hopefully I'm aiming towards like October. October would be dope. Definitely before the year though. There's no way I'm going the whole year without having my amateur debut. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
That's not happening.
That's dope. Well, I'm excited, man. You guys are gonna have to let me know when and where I can peep, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah, I'll let you know for sure.
Whenever it goes down. Yeah, you got a girl?
No, I don't gotta go.
You gonna bring a Hollister model in my studio, bro? You gonna get all my ladies gonna be all over this motherfucker now, bro. You know what I'm saying? We gonna make him famous, bro. Nah, shit. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. I'm excited to see, you know what I'm saying, that debut whenever it pops off. Let me know whatever you guys need, you know what I'm saying? We get it popping around here. The merch at the first fight. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, I appreciate it, bro.
I appreciate you having me.
Whoop that ass, man.
Hell yeah, thank you.
We out.